Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Nuke coming at you with a post-market recap of today, December 11th, 2018. It was Tuesday, and we're going to break down basically just what took place in the market. We'll take a quick look at the SPY. It was fairly uneventful. It was mostly just a chop fest. Wasn't anything you really wanted to be a part of unless you had no other choice. Most people kind of left early. It had a really nice workup pre-market, and then once the opening bell rang, it just faded off back to the pre-market open, broke slightly below the pre-market open before coming back about halfway between the pre-market low and the pre-market high, and then it settled down around the 264 mark. Just wasn't a great day. When we looked at on the daily, just you can see it's been a chop fest, and today was no different. Faded off. Just whatever it had regained in the pre-market hours, it dropped off. So just ugly. Most people didn't stick around for it. All right, we're going to cover the big ones: Apple, Facebook, NVDA, BABA, Netflix. Same thing, followed the market. Pre-market, they were slowly grinding up. Come the open of the bell, they just started crashing down. But the interesting part here is that from the pre-market high to the pre-market low, everything was basically range bound. And that carried with it across the daily chart as well. You can see how she had come up and then just dropped back down. Nothing significant, no crazy, unusual movement. Just a chop fest that if you got up in there, it's like an account blender. I'm sure some people made some good money on it, but most of us did not play it too much. Just too much uncertainty. Facebook pre-market had came all the way up, set in a pre-market high at 144.25. Come the opening bell, just drops back down to pre-market low, slowly ground back up to about 2/3 of the way of the pre-market action, then ground its way back to pre-market low, and then ground back up to about 3/4 of the pre-market range. Just nasty. Just nasty. Not something you wanted to play with. And solid day, just red. Yeah, nothing you want to fool with. NVDA pre-market rise up to around the 156.19 area, then instant drop down to pre-market low. Came back to a little over 1/3 of the way around the 152, and then just sorry guys, still getting over that cold. All day fader back down to the 100% extension of the low, and then it came back up to about the halfway mark. So about 50% extension to the downside. BABA sat here and messed around. No surprise though with the China trade talks and whatnot. But BABA creepited. BABA was creepiting. Y'all can hear the wifey in the background laughing at me. BABA crept up to a pre-market high of around 155, and then all-day fader back down to the pre-market low of the 150. Stand by. Alrighty. So, yeah, BABA just was not crazy. It was range-bound, 150 on the low side to 156 on the high side. Yeah, that's $6 worth of movement, but not what we were expecting to see. I mean, it just covered the pre-market range and nothing else. The next up from BABA is going to be Tesla, and Tesla did have a little more range than anticipated for the day. Tesla crept up to a pre-market high of 275 and had a pre-market low of 268, but as it faded out, rejected a previous support line that I had drawn in here. It wedged down, and then when it finally broke out of that wedge, it came down for another 3 points, and then chopped down all the way to 262 at the low. So that was a pretty good range of motion for Tesla. And I wasn't anticipating that was going to be the one that would get out of the box and go somewhere today, but it did. I'm sorry. Whoa, my God, I said Tesla. This was Netflix. Jesus. All right. Same thing applies. Same stock. Same chart, I mean. And we're going to go over the Tesla now. Tesla, with the pre-market high side of 372 and set in a pre-market low of 363. So about $10 there, and then another, let's see, $360, $4 drop to the downside, $3, $4 drop. So good range of motion out of Tesla, but as you can see, range bound, stuck in there mostly between the pre-market high and the pre-market low all day, with a little bit of extension to the downside, but nothing crazy. Netflix, that was the one, you know, a grand total of $4.38 of range today. There's no way that is right. Let's see. Let me redo that. Let me check this myself. That's in percentages. I gotta go and change that. Yeah, that was right at $12 range of movement. So 4%, 4.38% maybe. But all in all, Netflix had a lot of movement. Tesla wasn't bad, but range bound. Nothing crazy. It just channel traded, chop fest. Microsoft, we had looked at that one shortly, and same as the others, range bound. It was one of the few that broke out to the high side over the pre-market from 109.87ish up to 110.90. So, you know, about $1 move to the high side before falling back down almost to the pre-market low, where it hit 107.44 with the pre-market low being 107.07. So stayed in that range. Just nasty. And I'm looking for AMD. AMD is the one ticker that I took a trade on today, and it was just because it was setting up fairly nicely for me with the fibs, and I took a fairly smaller trade, so nothing crazy. AMD was stuck in this range like everything else. It made its way up to 2074 prior to the market open, with a pre-market low of 1989. And it spiked up right out of the gate to 2112, then insta slam back down. This was also one of the few that I had made a pre-market trend line on. And what I did like about AMD is it hit that trend line, rejected, came back down, and it was fairly consistently on it. So I did take the one trade on the AMD, and it worked out well for me. It was a green trade. But all in all, nothing to get excited over for today. Well, anyway, guys, that's what I got. That's my pre-market or post-market wrap-up. I'm loopy as hell on cold medicine, guys. We're getting over it, but it's still kicking us around pretty good over here. So I hope you guys are feeling better. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. And we'll get back to you tomorrow. We're going to have another exciting day. Wednesday might be better than Tuesday was. And we'll see you then, all right? Take care.